If you are enjoying my stories and want to continue watching new upcoming videos, please like and subscribe so I can continue to bring you stories in the future. Thank you for your support. Indonesia is home to countless ghost stories, but one of the most terrifying is that of the Sundel Bolong, a woman so beautiful you cannot resist following her until you see her back. Tonight, we tell a version of this legend that has never been told before. If you think you are brave enough, keep listening. The forgotten road in the heart of central Java, where rice paddies stretch like oceans of green under a suffocating moon, lies a road most travelers avoid after dark. This road is old, cracked, forgotten, a place where engines fail, where lights flicker without cause, and where, locals whisper, the dead still walk. On one sweltering night, a battered night bus broke down here. Inside, passengers waited as the driver cursed over the failing engine. Mothers rocked children. Young men leaned against fogged windows. The night was thick with mosquitoes, the air heavy. Then someone saw her, a woman, walking barefoot along the road. She wore a flowing white kabaya, its silk glowing faintly in the moonlight. Her hair hung in long, wet strands, as though she had just risen from a river. Her face was beautiful, too beautiful, skin pale as porcelain, lips blood red. Her eyes shimmered, catching every gaze inside the bus. But she never fully faced them. She always turned slightly, as if hiding something behind her back. Raka, a university student, couldn't resist. He stepped off the bus. "Mbak, are you lost? Do you need help?" The woman tilted her head, her lips curled into a smile. "I need a ride," she whispered. Her voice was melodic, but hollow, like wind trapped in a bottle. The driver hesitated, but her beauty clouded his judgment. He opened the door. She stepped in. The temperature inside plummeted. Passengers shivered as she floated down the aisle. Her feet never quite touched the floor. And then, a child screamed. The little girl sitting behind her had seen it first. On the woman's back, her dress clung to a gaping wound, a perfect hole ringed with torn flesh. Inside, things moved. Tiny arms, tiny faces, unborn children clawing against the thin membrane, pressing outward, their cries muffled but unmistakable. Everyone on that bus had seen it now. The lights flickered, then snapped off. Darkness. The bus shook. Passengers gasped in terror. In the silence, wet noises echoed, like flesh tearing, like something feeding. When the lights returned, Raka's seat was empty, but his body was still there, only hollow. His skin sagged like an empty sack, his insides completely devoured. Blood dripped onto the floor. The Sundel licked her lips, her eyes glowing faintly red. Her back pulsed. The cries inside her hole grew louder. The driver panicked. He slammed the brakes, but the doors wouldn't open. The passengers clawed at the windows, but they wouldn't break. The woman floated down the aisle, her face serene, almost tender, but her back yawning wider, hungry. One by one, she brushed past passengers. Each time, they vanished, sucked into the black hole. Their screams echoed inside her body, then were muffled as though drowning in flesh. A man tried to fight her. He swung a knife. It pierced nothing. His blade clattered to the floor and he was gone, his voice now one of the many cries inside her. The bus filled with cacophony, babies wailing, passengers screaming, bones cracking. Only the young woman remained. The Sundel knelt before her, stroking her cheek. "Do you hear them?" she whispered. "They are waiting for their mother." The woman trembled as the Sundel's head began to rotate, slowly, unnaturally, until her face looked backward, grinning through the torn veil of flesh. The girl fainted. By dawn, the bus was found, empty, silent, seats still warm, windows smeared with bloody handprints, not a single trace of the driver, passengers, or the girl. The village elders brought in Emba Darmi, a dukun, a spiritual medium from the mountains. She was 90 years old, blind in one eye, and could see through the veil between worlds. She walked the perimeter of the village, her walking stick tapping in a rhythm that made people's teeth ache. She stopped at an old banyan tree and stood listening. Finally, she spoke. "This is not one spirit. This is 30, the villagers murmured in confusion. 30 years ago, a young woman died here. Her name was Lastri. She was pregnant. Her husband left her. She hanged herself from this tree. Everyone knew this story. But what you don't know, Dharmi continued, is that 29 other women died that same year. Died in childbirth. Died from bleeding. Some died with their babies inside them. Some watched their babies die in their arms." She drove her walking stick into the earth. Death in childbirth opens a door. Most spirits pass through, but some get stuck. 30 mothers, 30 griefs, 30 hungers all tangled together like roots under this tree. They share one body now. They hunt together, and they want what was taken from them. "How do we stop it?" someone asked. Dharmi was quiet for a long time. "You cannot stop a mother's love, even when it curdles into rage, but you can satisfy it." "What does that mean?" "Someone must give her what she wants." The village argued for hours. Some said burn the tree, others said leave entirely. But everyone knew what Dharmi implied. The Kuntilanak wanted a child. "We will not give her a child," the village chief said firmly. Ibu Sari, the midwife, stood up. "Then I will go to her." "You will die," the chief warned. "Maybe. But maybe I can talk to her, mother to mother." At midnight, Ibu Sari walked to the banyan tree alone. She brought no weapons, no charms, only a blanket, soft, woven by her grandmother, the one she had wrapped around her own daughter the night she was born, the daughter who lived only 3 days. She sat at the base of the tree and waited. The night was silent, no crickets, no frogs. Even the wind held its breath. Then, laughter, a baby's laughter, but multiplied, echoing, as if 30 infants giggled at once. The woman in white descended from the branches like a spider on silk. Her face was beautiful and terrible at once, sometimes young, sometimes old, sometimes rotting, features flickering like a broken film reel. She landed in front of Ibu Sari without sound. "You came," the Sundel said, and her voice was a chorus of 30 women speaking in unison. "I came." The Sundel tilted her head. "Do you have my baby?" "No." Ibu Sari's throat tightened. "But I understand what was taken from you." The Sundel's face began to change, mouth stretching, teeth sharpening. "I lost a child once," Ibu Sari said quickly, holding up the blanket. "A daughter. She lived for 3 days. I held her while she died. I wrapped her in this blanket." The Sundel stared at the blanket. Her expression shifted. Confusion, hunger, recognition. "You are a mother," the spirit said. "Yes, a mother who has held death. Yes." The Sundel knelt. Up close, Ibu Sari could see the wound in her stomach, the torn flesh, the darkness inside that moved like water. "We want them back," the Sundel said, now sounding like just one woman, young and frightened. "We want to hold them, just once, just to know what it felt like." Tears ran down Ibu Sari's face. "I know, but they are gone. I know, and we are so angry. I know." The Sundel reached out. Her hand, cold as river stones, touched Ibu Sari's cheek. "Will you remember us? Yes. Will you speak our names?" "I don't know them." The Sundel smiled, a real smile, sad and small. "Then we will tell you." Sound cue. 30 voices whispering names, overlapping, soft as breath. She spoke 30 names. When she finished, the Sundel stood and looked at the blanket in Ibu Sari's hands. "May I?" Ibu Sari held it out. The Sundel took it gently, cradled it as if it were an infant. She brought it to her chest, to the wound that never healed, and for just a moment, one brief, impossible moment, the wound closed. Her stomach was whole. Her face became young and soft. She looked like any mother holding a sleeping child. "I remember," she whispered. Then she turned to smoke. The smoke drifted up into the banyan branches, carrying the blanket with it, and dissolved into the leaves. The night sounds returned, Crickets, frogs, wind. Ibusari sat there until dawn, crying for all the mothers she had lost, all the babies she couldn't save, all the grief that becomes a ghost when no one remembers to say the names. The village built a small shrine beneath the banyan tree. They carved 30 names into stone. Every year, on the anniversary of that night, mothers from the village bring offerings. Flowers, milk, blankets woven with care. No one has seen the Sundel since, but sometimes, on very quiet nights, you can hear it. The sound of a baby laughing, distant and sweet, no longer hungry. And if you listen closely, beneath the laughter, there is something else. A lullaby sung by 30 voices, finally at peace. This is the story they don't tell tourists. The story that lives in the space between heartbeat and breath, between mother and child, between living and letting go. If you ever find yourself in Indonesia walking past a banyan tree at midnight and you hear a baby laughing, stop, listen, and remember, some ghosts are not hunting. Some are just trying to remember what it felt like to hold something they loved.
So